Good morning to all our viewers across the world. You are welcome to Bystanders at the newsstand on your favorite platform, Flip TV. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on your location all across the world. You are welcome this morning to your favorite and wonderful program. Let me start today, Friday, November 8, 2024. And I'll start by reading the headlines of the major newspapers. We start with The Nation this morning. DHQ, Defense Headquarters, launches bids to take out new terrorist group, Lukarawas. This is a very sad development that a new terrorist group has emerged in Nigeria in the axis of Sokoto State. And we saw the military, they're telling us that the reason why this group had to be formed or why they are operating freely because of the collapse of the agreement between Nigeria and Niger, and they are taking advantage of that. I mean, the new terrorist group in Nigeria now, if you have not heard it, platform Bystanders, that there is a new terrorist group in Nigeria, Lukarawas, in Sokoto State. Now, the headquarters have launched a bid now to take them out. This is on the front of The Nation newspaper. Let's go to the Trust. The Daily Trust is number one other newspaper. Daily Trust. How Lukarawa members are terrorizing us. Sokoto residents, they are now complaining that this new terrorist group has started terrorizing them, imposing levy on them, collecting ransom, and they are calling the military to come and save them. Group imposes fines. Sex members are from Libya. Nigerians, listen to me. Lukarawa members are from Libya, Mali, and Niger Republic. Sex members, we are going to degrade them. That's the promise of the Defense Headquarters. DHQ said, Nigerians, don't be worried. We are going to degrade this new terrorist group that has just been formed. National Grid collapsed twice in 2 days, and bandits begin negotiation with victim's family. I've been pushed to betray Konkaso. That's the new governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf. He said that he's been pushed by some people to betray his oga Konkaso, but we see how it goes. Let's go to the Guardian newspaper this morning. The Guardian. Nigerian diaspora create new demands, income for teachers. Nigerian diaspora create new demands, income for teachers. That is the major headlines from the Guardian. Let's go to the Punch newspaper this morning, which is our last paper. The Punch newspaper this morning. FG orders overall as TCN, National Company of Nigeria, fears more breakdown. So Nigerians, get ready. More breakdowns of national grid is coming. That's what coming from the TCN. That's why FG has ordered overall of the TCN. Custom intercepts 6 containers of illegal drugs. Makinde Saraki won big weeks. This is PDP, which is the main opposition party. Makinde Saraki won PDP big weeks against division. Lagos invite bids for power plants. These are the major headlines of the newspaper this morning. So this morning I'll be having Mr. Matthew this morning on this topic. This morning, Mr. Matthew, good morning.
Good morning, thank you for having me.
Good morning, Mr. Matthew.
Good morning, thank you for having me.
Now, I want to ask you a question. Number one, do you believe, Mr. Matthew, that there is a gang up against the Igbos in Nigeria? By the Yorubas and the Fulanis?
No, the truth is, in Nigeria,
yes,
the Igbos have always been at the defensive end of the bus system of the country. That is. Well, if you look at the issues that gave rise to civil war, they are still with us today. And as we speak, if you look at the current system of governance in Nigeria, you agree with that it's skewed against the Igbos.
So, Mr. Matthew, you believe that the current situation of Nigeria system is skewed against the Igbos?
Yes. Because go and look at the current status quo. It's even better now.
Yes.
Under Muhammad Buhari, look at all the 7 chiefs. From number 1 to the last, you will not find an Igbo man. Though this administration of Tinubu have tried to make it better by giving an Igbo man one of the 7 chiefs. But that is not to say that, because we are looking at a democracy that is run on principle.
Yes.
You have federal character.
Yes.
And what federal character says is when you give a position, it will reflect the geographical spread.
Yes.
We have three major ethnic groups.
Yes.
So by implication, if you are having the security sector of the country, the Hausa, the Igbos, the Yorubas must be adequately and appropriately represented.
Right.
So once that is not happening, it's pure marginalization. Whether on the part of the Igbo, the Hausa, the Yoruba, anyone that is advantageous is pure marginalization. And of course, for what we are seeing, that the current situation with the Igbos. And often the time, that is why you hear people, the justification to succeed is always very loud. Because if the government do the right thing, you go find a situation where the people from the region will start speaking to the issue, discouraging people who come up with the idea of secession. But if all they see, anywhere they turn, is marginalization, of course, nobody will be willing to disabuse the mind of the other person from going ahead or thinking about secession. And let me quickly say that I think this is like an advice to the government.
Yes.
That when people rise up to say, I am not comfortable with the current status quo, hounding, intimidation, arresting do not often solve the problem. Rather, it fuel it. I think what perhaps solve it is addressing it. The best way to address it is to have a conversation around it. Look at Kamala Harris. She said she considered defeat, but that she's not considering the fight that gave rise to the campaign. Meaning her ideology is still with her. So you understand what I'm trying to say? So in that sense, if you harm people, yes, you intimidate them, you arrest them, yes, you are not arresting that idea. So all of Olochika have said it often severally, that it's an idea, as in perhaps the Biafra is an idea. So you can only address it from a geological point of view. Look at what is fueling it. What is the grievance of the people? We saw how a Sunday rose the other time. We saw the brute force with which federal government through DSS tried to suppress him. Yes. They raided his house at the middle of the night, and he not only escaped being killed. Will you not say a Sunday will have jettisoned the idea? We saw him the other time in United Kingdom submitting a letter to the Prime Minister of UK. So for me, the best bet is to have conversation around it, yes, rather than always using brute force to harm people each time they talk about secession.
So, Mr. Matthew, we've seen Olusegun Obasanjo, our former president. He said that the Igbos are not the first to say they are part of Nigeria and they don't want to be part of Nigeria. That the Hausas are the first people. Hausas are the first people to say no. But why then are the Igbos the only one that have been marginalized? They are not the first people to say they are part of one Nigeria. Hausas are the first to say it. And Hausas, they have taken power. Why can't the Igbos have access to power like the Hausas?
To be quite honest with you, even if Hausa is saying we want to succeed, yes, Igbo is saying we want to succeed, Yoruba is saying we want to succeed. As a matter of fact, as long as it's been done within the ambit of the law, I don't think the person has committed any crime known to law, yes, whether locally or internationally.
Yes.
Of course, go and look at all the charges against Nnamdi Kanu. Yes. You will not see anyone in that regard because they know that Nigeria is a signatory to a UN charter that talks about self-determination.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So to that extent, if I wake up tomorrow and said my own part of the country is no longer comfortable with the arrangement of the country, yes, as such, I want a separate sovereign state. As long as I'm doing within the ambit of the law, I've not committed any known crime known to law, whether locally or internationally. So it is a known fact that in the past, the Hausas shouted Araba, meaning divide.
Oh, they shouted Araba?
Yes. But as I will have it, that did not give their own separate sovereign states. We are still in a situation where the Igbos are currently agitating for their own sovereign states. Even the Britain that gave us this amalgamation, that brought everybody together, we saw how they exited European Union.
Yes.
And from the beginning of that campaign to exit European Union, we had people who were against it, people who were in support of it. We didn't see arrest, intimidation, hounding of British citizens. At the point it was achieved, the minority opinion had their say, the majority had their way. I think that's what we ought to have in this part of the world. It's not that a place to say, okay, you as agitators want to leave Nigeria, that say you are Biafra. Okay, invite UN, for instance. Let us have opinion of people. Let us know whether it's a popular opinion. And if it truly is a popular opinion and they vote, they want to go, allow them go. But they vote and the people that say they want to go are in the minority. That idea of I want to go will die. So I think that's the best way to go.
So if that's the best way to go, we are looking at this organization started. I'm talking about the shout, the pain and the agony started inception of the APC. We saw how Obasanjo managed Nigeria as a country. We saw how Obasanjo gave. Obasanjo said it himself. That in 1999, the Bible did not vote for me, but because as president of Nigeria, I had to carry everybody along, and then we saw his appointment. We saw that appointment. We saw rest in peace. We saw that appointment, but up until Muhammad Buhari, who said that some people gave me 5%, some gave me like 5%. And again, he said that some part of the countries are a dot in their country. As he said, I've been seeing this Biafra agitation, and people are seem to be agree with people like Nnamdi Kanu and Simon Ekpa. What do you think that the government should do, or this the government of today should do, to at least calm the nerves of Southeastern people?
You see, any crisis, any war, it ends on a round table. Go and mark my word. The Ukraine-Russia crisis will eventually end on a round table. So the earlier you made that table available, the better. So it is not still late for the government to provide a table for conversation. I know the government will always want to be right at all circumstances, but you should understand that if your interest is the welfare, the protection of life and property, and you are seeing people life being wasted, you are seeing properties wasted, and if you go through the route of peace, you avoid that wastage of life and resources. Is it not better? We saw how a year ago came with amnesty. Yes. The hostility in Niger Delta ended, and the whole money the federal government was expending to fight insurgency, they now deployed to other areas. So for me, I think the best bet, the best way to address it is to provide a roundtable for conversation and bring every interest on board to have discussion around it.
But do you agree with me when people say that the oil in Niger Delta, or better still, the oil of Niger Delta or of the south is the reason why Nigeria is united today? Do you agree with that statement?
It depends on who is speaking, and it depends on his how he's able to project his opinion. To an extent, I believe that he's right. Because look at Nigeria as an entity. Nigeria as an entity look as if it's an idle state, idle sovereign state, doing nothing, leveraging on oil for survival. And in the process of oil exploration, the federal government is idle. They don't do anything. Once they break the country into strata in terms of oil block, they invite oil companies to come and start exploring oil after giving the oil block to individuals who may be privileged to be close to the government of the day, as the case may be. Now, when they eventually discover oil, the company will bring their material to start drilling. It will cost even $20 billion to drill a rig in the deep sea. And these multinational companies like ExxonMobil, Chevron, Shell have the resources to do it. And all this while, federal government will not expend any dime. But once the oil start coming, federal government will step in to NNPC to collect 60%. That's what they collect across board, whether ExxonMobil, Chevron, Shell, name it. And that is what you see they spend lavishly. So I think I will agree with the opinion of people who say what is keeping Nigeria together is the oil. After all, when we talk about resource control, you see the stiff resistance that comes from the north. Look at when the president recently came up with the issue of tax bill.
Yes.
The northern states, the Nigerian northern states were opposed to it, that it's against their interests. They personally have gone through some part of the bill, but somebody like Nduma, who is from Borno State, say he have not read the bill, but that bill is dead on arrival. So meaning he's not even interested in the content of the bill, but as long as he's concerned, the bill is dead on arrival. So for me, I think I go with that school of thought that what keeps Nigeria together is the oil.
So now, if the oil keeps Nigeria together, what is that same line of thought that said that if the oil had belonged to the north, Nigeria would have been one today? So now, since the oil of the south is keeping Nigeria, I'm talking about Nigeria Delta, then why can't even Nigeria Delta itself, where you come from, be developed as God? The oil of Nigeria Delta wants to develop Abuja. If that same oil, we have not seen the reflection at all in Nigeria Delta. Right? What do you think the government should do? So at least, because even the state governors, we've seen them, the allocation has increased, we've not seen anything being done by them. What do you think to give these Nigeria people a sense of belonging in making sure that the oil that God has given to them and their region works out for them?
The problem of Nigeria Delta is multifarious. It's multifarious because federal government have their own issue.
Yes.
Stakeholders in the region have their own issue. Because however I look at it, 30% derivative give them advantage over other non-oil producing states.
Yes.
But you seldom see the governors of that region using it to the advantage of the people. Even the NDDC is supposed to be an added advantage.
Yes.
But you seldom see NDDC as an intervention agency coming up with projects that will uplift the region in terms of infrastructure and intervention that is meant for. So why other government, Nigerians who are privileged to manage the economy are doing their own in terms of mismanaging fund, Nigerians or Niger Deltas who are privileged to manage agencies, parastatals, ministries to salvage the region and develop it are equally mismanaging it. So it's a function of the attitude of Nigerians. Corruption. Corruption is the bane of the undevelopment of Niger Delta and Nigeria in general. So,
Mr. Matthew, do you agree with me that Nigerians are a reflection of their leaders?
Somehow I agree with you, because the day we decide to stand our ground and elect a leader that is truly for the people, I think things will start working for us.
So finally, I want to say something about this. Soludo has said, that's the governor of Anambra State, that Nigerians are undergoing major research after fuel subsidy removal. Do you agree with that statement?
I think unfortunately Soludo is playing politics. Because for me, I have a thinking that the Tinubu is not getting it right. He's not getting it right because I'm taking pain to look at some part of that tax reform bill.
Yes.
Under this circumstance, we are telling us that in 2025, we are going to increase VAT from 7%, 7.5% to about 12.5%.
Yes.
That in 2029 to 2030, the thing is going to increase to about 15%. Not minding the current reality on ground in terms of hardship. Because VAT will have multiplied effect in almost every human endeavor. Look at what is happening to import duty on imported vehicle. It's equally hard to multiply effect on the economy.
Yes.
We are telling us that companies will pay about 5% of their profits as tax. Though we have category, I think the companies that make up to 20 billion turnover. What I say in essence is, this is not the right timing for that. For me, I think Soludo is playing politics because he wants the favor of federal government.
So, finally, Mr. Matthew, I must let you go now, but it's nice having you, and thanks for coming on our platform this morning.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chinedu, good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Mr. Chinedu.
I think it's a friendly day. We have a lot to pick on the situation in the country. You know, we want us to shout, but we cannot do more than what we are doing now. You understand? Because it carries a lot of weight and wisdom. We keep on passing. We keep on passing the message across. We keep on saying it the way it is. Because if we are silent in the midst of wickedness. That means you're a coward. You understand? This is not an issue maybe whether we are going to carry arms or not. No, but this is an issue that has to do with over 250 million people. Nigeria is still struggling, to crawl, not even to walk. Unfortunately, that's where we find ourselves.
So, Mr. Chedu, today's topic is on the supposed gang up of the Yorubas and the Fulanis against the Igbos. Mr. Chedu, do you agree with me that there seems to be a gang up of the Yorubas and Fulanis against the Igbo tribe?
There has always been that sentiment, before and after independence. So and I believe that reservation and sentiment was transferred as a result of Igbo resistance to colonization. The colonization did not favor Igbos, even though Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe struggled to, serve Nigeria, but not to lead Igbos. Azikiwe served Nigeria, but he refused to lead his people. Just like what we have in the West and in the North, those ones they lead their people, but they serve Nigeria. So that reservation has taken their Igbo to a position where it looks as if they don't have any political value in Nigeria. But anybody that is coming with such opinion is not getting it right. It became very clear in 2023 when an Igbo man was supposed to take over the position of the presidency with the support of other regions. You can see the same thing actually also played out against Peter Obi. Even though there has been a mass reservation on how Tinubu finally found himself in this tight corner where Nigeria is not even moving forward, but moving backward. But if you look at it very well, a lot of people thought, that presently this last presidential election, the Yorubas would have come out, to give Igbo support based on understanding and gentleman's agreement, fair play, but it never happened. And the Northerners are not too comfortable supporting Igbo presidency. Had it been the West, the Yoruba gave Obi support, of course, the Igbo man would have been president by now. But it didn't happen, signaling that there is an alleged gang up, there's an alleged reservation, there's an underground movement, to continue to checkmate Igbo rise politically. Another factor there that became very significant recently was the issue that has to do with the way and manner Northerners are playing their own politics, which was rebuked by Obasanjo recently. Obasanjo said it clearly that the accusing Igbo of separation, agitation, but you are the first people you also committed the same crime it was committed. Why are you now using it as a factor to deny Igbo the presidency? So that is the picture Obasanjo was actually playing out. And if you look at what the APC chairman, Gaduje, was trying to say, join APC if you don't want to be marginalized. So you know that in honest truth, there is a gang up, there is an agreement, there is something that we are not seeing physically, but is being played out as a script, against the Igbo political rise in Nigeria.
So there's this question I want to ask you. In Nigeria, which major tribe believes in the oneness of Nigeria?
I think even before now, if you look at the antecedents of the recognized British president years back, I'm talking about Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe, who was more Nigerian than more Igbo. He advocated for nationalism. Why the likes of Awolowo and of course Tafawa Balewa and the rest of them, shows deep reservation for ethnic antecedents, trying to push towards that direction. But Azikiwe advanced more as a Nigerian, a Pan-African, more than any of these people. But you know that somewhere along the line, the whole thing backfired. Let me just use that word, backfired, as a result of when it became very clear that the Igbo resistance of colonization been recorded down in the heart of those who felt that Igbo would have just thrown a space for the British colonization. Yes, it was resisted. The Northerners did not resist the way Igbos resisted colonization. The Yoruba did not. In fact, it was recorded that it was the Yoruba themselves that initiated and invited British colonization in their own region, but Igbo resisted it. So and that, what you mean by resistance, it comes with lives. It goes with lives. It goes with who they are. As people who feel that they cannot be able to lie down for somebody that was born by a woman. And it plays in their culture. If you look at what the picture that was painted some time ago, you see the way the Igbo man received the Queen of England is different from the way a Yoruba man received the Queen of England. It's also different from the way a Northerner, an Hausa man, or a Fulani man received. So those are diverse cultures, that has come to look as if it is working against the Igbo nation. But of course, the advancement continues, the reservation continues. But the truth of the matter is we have gotten to a point where things need to be defined properly. And also, the British system knows actually that the Igbo was not part of the invitation for amalgamation of Nigeria. No Igbo man was invited during that meeting. We have more of Northerners and few Yorubas in that meeting. But because of ingenuity of Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe as at that time, it paves a way for recognition of Igbo. And that was how, because of his outstanding leadership and qualities, and how he was able to organize Africa with the likes of Kwame Nkrumah and Abat Macaulay in those days, he was able to get that fame globally. And that was how the British look at it from that angle and was able to give him that position of, ceremonial president of Nigeria. So that's the picture. But the struggle still continues. Nigeria has never transformed from that point where we'll be talking about nationalism, unity, as the case must be. You can see that Nigeria is still fragmented. The Yorubas are saying Oduduwa Republic. The bandits, the Sharia concept, the Islamization concept is getting deep in the north. In the east, there is mass support for realization and restoration of a nation like Biafra that existed for 34 years or thereabout. So Nigeria is still fragmented. All this campaign of unity, often and on, is just a game that's being played because of the resources that is in the Biafran land.
So, Mr. Chinedu, there's this line of thought that said that Biafra is older than Nigeria. Do you agree with it?
Biafra has always been something we don't need to talk about, if not for the era of colonization, where a certain era they intend to wipe out history. If at that point, the issue that has to do with a certain kingdom that has existed, in the 14th, 13th century or thereabout, that happens to be, Biafra was an umbrella of one of the largest kingdom under the supervision administration of, a set. If we must go back to the history. So it was not Nigeria that gave birth to Biafra. It was not the Portuguese that gave birth to the name Biafra. It was not the Britain that gave birth to Biafra. But I can tell you that in the heart of every Nigerian, you discover there was a certain lady who was a journalist for New York Times in America who named this country Nigeria. So Biafra as a name has been in existence before the 90s, where Florence Shaw and Lord Lugard played a kind of game and decided to name the territory they amalgamated as North and Southern Protectorate. Subsequently, they now named it Nigeria. But before then, you know, Biafra as a name of a kingdom has been in existence. It became, I think, if I can remember the name of the man that later republished and brought that name to final limelight that made Ojukwu to finally capture it, was Fernando Po. You know, he was a Portuguese renowned navigator that brought that name down. And currently now, in the Bight of Guinea, you know, presently in the Gulf of Guinea, presently now, you know, there's still a minor, an Ethiopian minor, a community that is still being named Biafra till today. So it has been in existence before Nigeria. You can remember, you know, that the water that flows from that axis down to, you know, West Africa, it was called the Bight of Biafra. You know, so it has been there, you know, before Nigeria was named as a country. So automatically, you know, the Biafra name or kingdom, as it were, belong to the Ethiopian Empire. We have 4 empires that made up of Africa. The one that we factored ourselves in is called the Ethiopian Empire, which is the Kush, which is also known as the Aegean. You understand? Yes. So the realization and acceptance of Biafra as a nation is linked to our progenitors, or where we come from, where you know, we believe it is our source. So that's the picture.
So Mr. Chinedu, you are looking at the fact that there's this controversy yesterday on the newsstand. That I need to ask you this question: who is the hero of the Igbo race? Some said Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe. Some other people said no, it was a man that fought our battle, which is Dim Odumegwu Ojukwu. Now I want to ask you that question: who is the real hero of the Igbo race? And the person that put that question said, "You go to Igbo land. How many children are you hearing their name Azikiwe? That even the family of Azikiwe are not relevant. But today Ojukwu remains the hero of the Igbo race." Do you agree with that statement?
Yes, to an extent, because like I said before, you know, Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe served Nigeria, but he never led his people. You know, those are the two things you must take away. You know, he served Nigeria, you know, but he never led his people the way Awolowo and Tafawa Balewa, Ahmadu Bello, and the rest of them did in their own regional basis. You know, so but another way around, there's something we must take away. You know, is that Ojukwu, Emeka Odumegwu Ojukwu, the Ikemba one of Nnewi, was a man who defined history and gave us identity. You can see the difference. You know, Ojukwu gave us identity. You understand what I'm saying? What is the identity? You know, when you say you are an Igbo man, Igbo is a language. You understand? And we need to correct that impression. I always say it. Igbo is a language. But who are the Igbo nationalities? What are they called? So that was what the identity Ojukwu gave us. That identity is that we are Biafrans and our language is Igbo. You understand?
So you said that Igbo is a language, but the identity, the nationality is Biafra.
The nationality is Biafra. You understand? You can say Biafra Nigeria, or Biafra Nigeria. You can say language Nigeria. Igbo is a language, and we must begin to factor ourselves and begin to correct. It's just like when somebody say Yoruba, Yariba, and when we know that the real identity of Yorubas are not Yariba or Yoruba, the Yoruba have their indigenous name they are known for. You understand? So those are the kind of bastardization that came with colonization. So we cannot continue to, you know, embrace this falsehood on ourselves and our identity. So the more we realize that, the better for all. So on that position, a lot of credit is going to go to Emeka Ojukwu, for giving us that identity.
So, Mr. Chinedu, another line or reason of thought said that the oil in Niger Delta, the oil in Igbo land as a part of Ondo State, is the reason why Nigeria is one nation. Do you agree with that?
Nigeria has been factored based on crude oil. Nigeria became a disunity in unity as a result of resources in Niger, in Biafran land. The concept of which they came with geopolitical zone was deliberately done to fragment the Biafran territory so that they will be able to have, you say when they say divide and rule, so that they can be able to lay a large amount of hand on the resources, because that is what is keeping Nigeria. That is where the unity is. The crude oil is the unity of Nigeria. Without crude oil, there will be no unity. So when they realized that it looks as if that Odumegwu Ojukwu was only fighting because of crude oil, but look at it, for how many years till now, no Igbo man has never benefited from the resources that has to do with crude oil. So what is the justification? You understand? You can see that a large amount of people that control the resources for over 104 years is the British government and the Northerners and some, Yoruba Arabs who join forces.
No, I'm sorry to cut you short here. I'm sorry. You continue. The crude oil belongs to the Niger Delta, but the oil well belongs to the north. Isn't that something that somebody from Ghana, from Benin will be looking at? Crude oil belongs to these people. Their own crude oil is not being used to their advantage. Let me give you an example. Abuja was built majorly with the crude oil of Niger Delta. We look at Niger Delta. Look at this. Look at the erosion. Look at how they are their farms, pollution, pollution and everything. Why can't the crude oil of Niger Delta be used to develop Niger Delta?
The concept of Niger Delta was a political phrase. A dictionary, that they manufactured because of the interest, the same thing that took Nigeria, the same falsehood that led to Nigerian Biafran war, the same falsehood that led to amalgamation of northern and southern protectorates, the same falsehood, the same sentiment is having multiplying effect on the ethnic nationalities that made up Biafra till today. The conquest that took place, according to them, is the reason why it is part of the loot. They saw crude oil as part of the loot. You understand? But let me put it very clearly now, is that yes, I know that the damage that's been done in Biafran land, as in the division that they create in Biafran land, some people have accepted it to be reality. But I can tell you that there's no part of South I've never lived. I've stayed in Bayelsa, I've stayed in Cross River, I've stayed in Port Harcourt, I've stayed in Eket, Akwa Ibom, I've been in Yellow Duke, Cross River, Calabar. So I'm able to have a proper view, knowledge, on anti-sentiment that is going there because of the umbrella nationality, which is Igbo. There's nowhere in the world, even in the north, they still have people that does not speak Hausa.
Yes.
There's no country in this world you don't have minority ethnic nationalities. But why is so much attention on the East? Because of the fear of the Igbo rights. One, the fear of not trying to bring them, allow them to have a together, to be together. Because when you are together, when there's a kind of unity and understanding, it breeds strength.
So, Dr. Okwaji is greeting us on this platform. Dr. Okwaji, good morning. He said it's time for work. And good morning, sir. And God bless you. Thanks for watching. But we are rounding up because this topic is very interesting. So it can take us to 3 days.
Yes, yes. I'm ready.
We continue tomorrow.
Let me allow this do man.
No, let me ask you final question. So then you come in.
Okay.
Mr. Chinedu, do you believe in that there's Igbophobia? I'm going somewhere. A Yoruba man can identify as Oduduwa, there's no problem. An Hausa man can identify as an Arewa man, there's no problem. If an Igbo man there say I'm a Biafra, there's this fear, or what's the problem? Do you agree, or do you think that there's Igbophobia in Nigeria?
When you go to anywhere in the world, you say it's an American. What comes into your mind? There's this consciousness,
yes.
That's the battle of the mind.
Yes.
The mind battles for some seconds. An American, yes. You want to he's American. No, it's the image. America is not more sophisticated than any other people, but the image they have built for themselves over the years, yes. makes you conscious when you say an American. When you hear a Chinese, a China, okay, you want to.
Yes,
yes, that is just the sentiment. The Igbo nation has been globalized as a result of their ingenuity, as a result of their spread, as a result of their republican nature, as a result of their strength, as a result of their innovation and the quest for adventure. They are dead men for themselves. You cannot talk about 83 countries of the world. 83 countries. I'm just giving you an insight. 83 countries of the world. There is immediately we were able to access the indigenous people of that place, the next largest tribe or race in that country is credited to be an Igbo man. So what does that tell you? They have built a momentum for themselves, and especially a lot of people here have deep reservation on the manner and way the Igbo nation during the war was able to resist the world powers, including Russia, America, France, Germany, Britain. So if it was to be something that has to do with just a Nigerian factor alone, it would have quite been difficult. But you can see, even at that moment of necessity, there were inventions. So Igbo man has registered, his sentiment and presence in all ramifications. So based on that, when they hear this thing, they see a lot of things breed in the mind.
Yes.
Igbo man, a bad man. Igbo man, resilient. Igbo man, no. Let us see how we can, take a proper rundown on him and be able to discover actually, no. Don't give you a chance. Don't do this. Don't do this. Those are just things, that are sentiments that was built on falsehood. The Igbo man is not like that. Igbo man believes in Ebeberugo, Bere, in case he be Bela. What does that mean is that live and let live. But if you say I will not live, show me where I will live, because you're not the owner of this world.
Are you that language is poor, as in that is just spoken? Are you people? No, I don't understand.
No, what I say is this. Emebere, Ugobere.
Okay. Yes.
That's, you have different types of bed.
Yes.
Whether the one where no good, make everybody perch.
Yes.
If you say I will not perch, then show me where I will perch. As simple as that.
Okay. Mr. Chinedu, we continue this conversation tomorrow. It's a lot of work. We can do it for even 3 days.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, yes, sir. So we will continue this conversation tomorrow. Do you believe the Fulani and the Yorubas are deliberately marginalizing the Igbo? But tomorrow we'll continue. Thanks for coming, sir. I don't know if Lagos come in on this topic before I let thank you people. No problem. Okay, 2 people. You can take, yes. Make it easier. Okay, sir. Yeah, I can take 2 people. You're free. Okay, it's free. It's okay.
Madam, just a minute. Just give us it. Madam,
excuse us. Good morning to the both of you, sir.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning.
There's this line of thought. Yesterday, when Yokuba said, let me start with you. You're Yoruba man. You are not Oduduwa then. He said, no. You're not Oduduwa person. I'm Oduduwa person. I'm proud of you.
Okay.
Now, do you believe that Yorubas must not let Tinubu down in 2027?
Well, first of all, if you want to talk of Nigerian politics the way it's usually been played,
Yes.
where we have seen
Yes.
our leaders
Yes.
showing, a kind of so when it comes to playing the politics at the central level, they tend to lean more on where they come from,
Yes.
which was displayed clearly by former President Muhammadu Buhari, where all major appointments, security, everything was dominated by Fulani, because he said that these are the people he believe that will help him work. It has been a trend, accident of our past leaders. So if Tinubu also does that, you do not blame him. And if he doing that, his people right around him, that is their own son, it should not be blamed, because that has been the accident of our past leaders. So if the own people of where he comes from see it first of all as their responsibility to write down their own one, their own man,
Yes.
so that it doesn't fail, it shouldn't be a new thing. It should be accepted. First of all, if I been a Yoruba man and qualified to be a Nigerian, if it's not for one of the tribes in Nigeria, he will be a Nigerian. And there are many tribes in Nigeria that constitute Nigeria. Yoruba is one of them, Igbo is one of them, Hausa one of them.
Yes.
So there's a prerequisite for him to be a Nigerian. That is, must be one of the tribes from Nigeria, of which Yoruba is one of them. So if that is the basis, of course, Yoruba has legitimate right to write around their own people, because that's the prerequisite, that's the qualification that made him to be a Nigerian. So now Yoruba, if in that sense they are saying their own man should not be allowed to free 2027, they have the grounds to say that, because a Yoruba man, that one make he's not supposed to be a Yoruba man before he qualified to be a Nigerian. Otherwise he won't be a Nigerian. If he has hailed from one of the tribes in Ghana,
yes,
Ashanti,
yes,
he will be a Nigerian.
right. Yes.
So what makes Igbo Nigeria is because the Igbo is one of the tribes that constitute Nigeria. Yes. So if an Igbo man is become president and their Igbo stock say they will run around him, it's accepted. It's accepted. So to protect the point, that means Yoruba to ask, a responsibility that their man must not fail, because it's from being a Yoruba man that made him to be Nigerian. So that's right.
So I'll ask you this question before I go to him. So now, yesterday, our first lady, that's one of the president, Chief Oluwemi Tinubu, said that Nigeria we should keep praying for our leaders. Do you agree with that line of thought that we should continue praying for Nigeria?
That is the truth. That's what the Bible says. And by my thought, in my church, we've been taught that we should not cause any of our leaders.
Yes.
Now, that's my own line of action now. Yes. Because we have been brief, it was established to us in the scripture. Pray for your leaders. After God, the next people on you are your leaders. There's constant authority over you. So it's foolishness causing your leaders. When you say negative things and it's manifest on them, they will tell you that you are outing you. You have no choice. There's nothing you can do. If you cry from now to next year, you can't remove Tinubu for where he is. Of course, that's the truth. So that if it's positively impacted, positive insights, understanding will come upon them and do something good that will affect your life positively. But if you keep on any causes, negative thing, it has a way of bouncing back, because negative thing will be happening on them, and the negative decision that will be affecting you. Your life will be stagnant and you will be remaining the same. So we should keep on praying for our leaders, not because we want to worship them, but because positivity, when you're positive in anything, in your speech, your action, your attitude, positivity will come to you as well. You get my point? Yes. It will locate you. But if you are speaking negative or negative minded, negativity will be coming to you. So if the people who are in spirit of authority, who are taking decisions that will touch your life, that affect your life, they are saying negativity to them, when you affect them, So what they will come back to you to will post negative things and form a decision on you, which will stagnate your life, you make your life not to move forward. So pray for our leaders, not because we love them, not because we like them, but because of our own end result, what we get from them.
So let me go to Edonobi Lagos. Mr. Edonobi Lagos, good morning first. So now, Edonobi Lagos, do you agree with him
Mr.
that with Mr.
Olajide.
Do you agree with Mr. Olajide that we should keep praying for our leaders? Do you agree that we should keep praying for our leaders? Edonobi Lagos.
I know it's in the Bible. They say pray for leaders. Pray for those who have your heart, not those devil ones. When you pray for them to start stealing trillion or stealing billion, making life miserable for you. I get it. Yes. But that's not good. The same God who was with devil and devil refused to repent, yes, and he cast devil down. So when you are praying for your leader and your leader doesn't even interested of that prayer, yes, and they are not doing what you're supposed to do, yes, what do? You cast it to bits. You hear me? Yes. Now you pray for Yaya Bello. You have to pray for Yaya Bello for 8 years. Yes. And it's now he did still deny the people 80 billion. 80 billion, yes. Billion. Okowa 1.70 trillion. Then you pray for him. You pray for people who is giving me something, who is praying for my children not to go to school. I'm sorry, if you cannot pray for Tinubu, then what should we do to him? Let me tell you. Yes. You pray for those who understand you, who will give you, who will allow God to be happy. And when I'm happy, God is happy. When Nigeria is happy, God is happy. We have everything in this world, but we have the devils who are making us miserable. We keep praying for them at the end. The mean I say we should pray, he's a pastor. He should lead the prayer first. He should lead the prayer. Let him lead the prayer. They will follow suit. But you are praying for your leader who doesn't deserve prayer. The leader doesn't deserve prayer. You want to tell me wicked that is destroying the state, that you pray for wicked to keep destroying the state. Or you pray for president who know the truth is telling us lies. So, well, for me, I will pray for those who will be able to understand the prayer, not those who don't understand the prayer. Most of them are demons. Most of them, after praying for them, they go low and start serving them. So, darkness and light can be under. I don't know, Lagos. This is after the first question. Now, Mr. Lucky, we've seen yesterday said that Yoruba people must not allow Tinubu to be defeated. Do you think that Yoruba people with this situation are still going to vote, even though they are in Edo State, come up in the state, who is part of the Midwest? Do you agree that Yoruba people will not allow Tinubu to be defeated in 2027? Okunbo is suffering from political syndrome. Because you see him here, you see him here, you see him here. Yes. See him for Labour, see him for PDP, he's still massing APC. What he's trying to do, he said that I want to retire. I don't want to dwell on politics again. Now he's singing for another 2027 for Tinubu. You can see Tinubu has not even finished the first tenor. You are singing another one. I think for me, Don Yokumbe is not that matter not supposed to arise now at all. Let us recognize them. Mrs. Gladys Oyabo, watching from Rochester, United States. God bless. She said that what's the way out and everything is sad and pathetic. Talk to her. God bless you, my big sister. God bless you. The only solution is for Nigeria to come out and tell Tinubu enough is enough. Many Nigerians have been turned to mental. Many Nigerians now to see them just like our sister here now. His son is everybody you see him walking on the road, they are talking to themselves. I think for me, what we need is for all Nigerians to unite, agree that this hardship is enough. This hardship is enough. Many Nigerians are talking, I can't blame her. It's the situation of the country. Government is supposed to take this and a mature woman like this to the rehabilitation center, Yaba. Yaba, yes. That's what I did to my in-law. I took my in-law to that place, Yaba, for rehabilitation. And women like this supposed to be taken to Yaba, but they don't care. Many Nigerians, see, many Nigerians are like this now. This government has turned Nigeria to mental. So the solution is everyone to unite and make sure that this government tell them the truth that Nigerians are suffering. We have everything. God has given us everything. But why are we suffering ourselves? Just one source, petroleum, which you know that the only source we have is that petroleum. You remove it. At the end, they are telling nonsense. You go back to CNG, which Malaysia are rejecting now. So that's the solution. The solution that Yoruba, Hausa, Igbo to come together and let's have one round table talk. So for me, the area you said Okube 2027 doesn't arrive now. Anybody that doesn't eat well, I don't think we last to 2027. We are talking now. The man has not even finished 2 years. We are singing 2027. And again, Tunubu, according to him, is a Democrat. Yes. He's not necessary of behaving like the way Buhari behaves. Anyway, I'm not surprised. He said, I am going to continue like Buhari legacy. Jonathan rule. Jonathan pick different people for economy. Is that also? So the same Papa sector did he spread everything around. But pick my brother, everybody. How can you go for? It's not going to work. So for solution in Nigeria, let us come together and agree that this government has paid.
So, Mr. Olajide, we are looking at the fact that people is still a very long way. You cannot come here and say people is going to be this or that. It's still a very long way. But as of now, there's like the only thing that our president should do. We're talking about the inflation, the poverty, and the hunger. What is it that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, our president, should do to at least alleviate the suffering of Nigeria?
To be sincere with you,
Yes.
to be sincere with you, during Buhari's regime, we were told that Nigerians are most demonstrably poor. About over 140 million Nigerians are most dimensionally poor. So, because we are desperate now, you just have to still government. Removal of the subsidy.
Yes.
Those are the two. Well, according to him, even when he was in opposition in 2012,
Yes.
he said subsidy was a scam.
Yes.
Saying the subsidy being paid was not for masses, meaning that if they remove this subsidy things.
Yes.
But what I blame him for is that he did not properly sit down and analyze that subsidy matter before he remove it. If you had done the homework very well, you would have known that petroleum products prices have multiplying effect on the price of everything. Both farm produce, and then we bring from the farm to the city center. Yes. It will be transported, and the very good that bring it will buy diesel. Cost of transportation will raise. If you raise the price of those items, yes, of petroleum products, if you have sat down and done thorough assessment of what will be the impact of subsidy removal, will it affect life positively, negatively? But he didn't do that. Just at the point of swearing in, he made a loose statement. He made a loose statement, yes, that subsidy is gone.
Yes.
That was what aggravated the cost of living higher than what Buhari left. That make
price of things to go exorbitantly higher.
Yes.
What I think is to do is this. Well, if the government is in dire need
Yes.
of assistance,
Yes.
it should not be coward to open up to outside world for assistance. Yes, whoever is in desperate need of help should speak out. After the Bible says, ask, it shall be given. Knock, it shall be open. Seek, it shall find. There's nothing bad in a government that is in distress. Even if a man is in distress, he will seek for help. He seek for assistance. Government should be bold enough to seek for assistance, help from outside the world. There is a serious issue of need, of emergency, of need. There's no the government should be bold enough to come out of his arrogant position of not seeking for help, not opening up, not standing for help from outsiders. For example, you can declare food crisis emergency, can declare emergency of food situation, and ask people of the world to support you by taking care of this emergency situation in which we are. Yes. Foreign countries will bring food supply to Nigerians to bail us out within this period and tell you when this will be out of it. After the United Nations bring food support to the other people who are there in need. Even we Nigerian support groups to provide things for people. Get my point? So number one, government should seek for help from outsiders, yes, foreign nations, international partners and donors, countries to bail us out for if we are in an emergency situation. Yes, it's not bad if you do that. It's not that you are weak. It's like when you are in need of help personally, you human being. Yes. And you reach out for people for help. In my church, we give to needy every time. Yes. So that's number one thing government should do. Number two is that the palliative government promise to people to kind of support. It was not implemented. It was fundamentally.
I'm sorry to continue. Mr. Jenny Kennedy said that Nigeria, which way for Nigeria?
The way is this. The way is what I'm providing. Yes. Government should be bold enough to seek for help. Yes. Not a human being individual who is in need. Yes. Cry out for help. Yes. I was saying somebody very close to us that he wounded. Yes. He wanted to use his drug. Yes. Precisely for use for biosis. He doesn't have money to feed. He talked to one of us here. And the person brought him to this woman. He brought food for him yesterday in my presence. That is when you are in need of help, you seek for help. When you are in need of the administration, you don't brag. You don't remain in your bragging, arrogant position. Claiming no. You reach out to speak out for help. Our government can reach out to council communities, foreign countries for help. When in emergency situation, food supply can come in for United Nations. Good nations who are super sensitive, who are humanitarian, will bring in to bail us out from the present condition we are. Not, you get my point? Yes. Number two, the economic situation this government brought about, you can bring out succor, a kind of palliative which the province is do. Yes. At least to support people in their needs. Then the third one is let the government reappraise the economic policies it implements in Nigeria and see where to touch where to add and where to remove, so that at the end of the day things will be better. So let me ask Edono Binego this question. It's about the PDP. Your party, PDP, they are prepared for 2027. PDP talking about 2027 presidential election. Now, the PDP is saying, Makinde and Saraki is telling them, PDP, we don't want division. We must find a way to rescue Nigeria and take power from the APC. Do you think that the PDP are in the right position to rescue Nigeria?
Before I go to that, yes, the area of Tinubu, yes, the economy, or the food, or the suffering, what can we do? Yes. Tinubu is a greedy man. I call it greedy president. He doesn't want to take advice. He wants to rule Nigeria the way he ruled Lagos. Whereby one man take it up, say whatever he say, yes in Lagos State. You can't do that in Nigeria. Nigeria is different entity, different dimension. I think he doesn't listen. Let him take advice. Article, he's not a businessman. He's not a businessman. If he's a businessman, listen to the people. take care of your people first. That's why Trump used the people first. But it's not the people first. It's your interest and its family. So that's area of Tinubu is greedy. That is area of PDP coming. I think Nigeria is beyond politics party now. Not PDP, not APC. They are all the same thing.
PDP and APC are the same.
They are the same thing. Now what we need is to sit down. Let the National Assembly, Nigerians, say enough is enough. Let's sit down and say which way. Just like what Chanoko said. Which way Nigeria? Which way is let regional system, let Edo, where I come from, produce what I will eat. Let 10% to federal government. Let Ondo do the same thing. Let every state produce Igbo, produce what you have. Pay 10% to federal government. When you make that law here, that you see all these things will come down. Why is that? As far as President Tinubu is the one who employ INEC, is the one paying INEC. 2027 election will just be the last election. 2023 when they give OP small portion, give article small portion, give small portion, change the line of share, give Tinubu, like what happened in the state. As far as 2027 election, Tinubu is the one that going to conduct election. Is zero. Whatever article Makinde is saying is just wasting of time. We are talking how to survive till now to 2027. That's what they're supposed to be thinking. Put the pressure on Tinubu that they just have what are dying. They want to weaponize us for us, but we see 1 naira. We agree with them. So that is my area. 2027, PDP, APC, they have nowhere to find. They should go. Allow us to say Nigeria to decide. Nigeria to decide. If you take the election in America, American people decide, yes. Not the elite that decide, not the government that decide. The people say this is what we want. 2027 election will not reflect that. People will decide to remain there. So we can't continue that way. It's not a democrat.
Yes, your governor said, Obaseki, he said that I'm not afraid of the FCC. I've done my job very well as governor of Edo State. Now, if you invite me, I'm coming. Do you think that your governor, Obaseki, have nothing to be afraid? No skeleton is coming.
He no need to be talking. If they are corrupt, they are corrupt. They should find evidence that is corrupt and send to EFCC. Just the way they arrested the Delta State governor. Yes. I cannot be here defending Obaseki. In my area where I come from, I don't think there's road and there's so many things there. All the governors are corrupt. No one. Every governors are corrupt. A massive billion, a massive this thing, they don't use it to do what. But all the people I blame the people who doesn't monitor them. I blame the people who are still singing political song to them. For me, all of them, they are all corrupt. They deny us so many things. Just the way Tinubu is denying us many food and drinks and water, hospital, schools. He's denying us now. All you know, maybe they want to reduce population. I don't know. And also, I mean, Nigerians are dying under their watch. So, my brother, they don't have anything to offer. PDP, APC, they don't have anything to offer. All you know, they are talking to party to party. So 2027, let Nigeria sit down and decide where they want to go.
So, Mr. I don't know if we are rounding up.
Yes.
I'll have to give them Mr. Olajide mic too. In 5 minutes, I want both of you to give us what do you think that our leaders, not even only the president is doing his own, is giving allocation to states, and the states are not even seeing the multiplying effect. The states have more money now, but we are not seeing anything. What is it that the president, the governors, and the state and the state governors should do to at least give Nigeria a sense of belonging?
See, our governments should know that their policy should be people centered, not personal centered. And every policy they bring up, they should reassess the policy effectively and utilize it and see that the policies are in line with the people's oriented objective. There's going to bring up policies that will put people in the hardship. Anyway, it's because our system is such that we are not empowered. But if you have a system that empower us and recognize us as the owner of sovereignty, that we will see part of our sovereignty to our rulers. people are forever us, and they are their master, they are our servant. Then they will be higher accountable. But the system whereby the whole system is hijacked is a personalized hijack. That's what usually happens. Let our government let them reappraise their system and make sure the system they are bringing upon or not the policy they are bringing upon over us is something that will guarantee good livelihood of citizenry. That's my contribution today.
So thank you so much, Mr. Olajide. Tomorrow we'll be having you on this same topic. God bless you, Mr. Olajide, and thanks for coming, sir. I don't know, Lagos. You are rounding up now. Okay. What is the way? Since the president has been giving governors higher allocation, what's the way forward for?
You see, giving allocation is not a but you give your wife money to cook. What do? You monitor your wife. Is that not so? You monitor the food, the quantity of food is giving you. I get me. Both the state, both the federal, they all the same. Both of them are liable. Both of them are liable. The state, do believe that most of the state governors they even have power more than the president now. Are you aware? Because the president used them to go and win the election for state. Without the governor, I don't think the president with them. So they are all the same thing. If you don't monitor what the money you give to them, and the people, when people say something, so you know, like what is happening in River State now, when you have a minister working for Tinubu, and the minister is controlling River State, who have retired, who have been a governor for 8 years. What do you expect? President listen to it of something to call the wicked to sit, allow the governor to work. You are directing the governor, the minister, what to do. So how would you people monitor? How would the people say something that this governor is eating my money? Look at a governor who steal 80 billion. Now who's supposed to be in the FCC neck? Yes. Is playing federal government, playing the FCC, playing anything. He has not been able to arrest. I get me. Yes. Can anybody get up? Because he says, go and report in the FCC and say this government embezzled 80 billion. They were arresting and prosecuting. Is that not so? So both the president and the governor, they said, until the people realize, until the people unite, people outside unite and say, it's time for us to take charge. I believe headway will come. If you are waiting for Tinubu, waiting for governor who spend money for them to maintain their car, their dogs, everything, to say the people are not being given, you are wasting your time. Until the people realize that it's time for us to take our destiny. They will go far.
Okay, I don't know, I must let you go now. But thanks for coming on our other platform. We'll see you again tomorrow. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Mr. Femi, good morning, sir. Good morning. So now, we are still on that discussion of can prayer make Nigeria better? That's number one. And then Yoruba have said, Yoruba have said that Yorubas must not allow Tinubu to lose 2023-2027 presidential election. And we see that we are Nigerians and we are facing this exact situation. Do you think that Yorubas, with this constitution, are still going to vote for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu?
It's not Yoruba that will do that work. It is President Bola Ahmed Tinubu that will do the work. Alágẹmọ ti bímọ tán, àìmọ́jọ́ kù sọ́wọ́ ó kù sọ́wọ́ ọmọ alágẹmọ. The support we can give President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we gave him in 2023, yes. And thank God that he crowned our effort. So, but for him now to solicit for second time, it will be based on his performance now. Yes. And how the strategy he want to use. So Yoruba alone cannot give President Bola Ahmed Tinubu second time. It's not possible. It has been scratch my back, I scratch your back. So if Tinubu performance deserve second time, Nigeria will give him second time. But if his performance does not even please us, we that we are Yoruba, he will not even win Southwest, except he do some kajo, because the name that people are calling him before he came there, the name are being unfold. People are being, we that we support him, we are being mocked. Like, have you seen your have you seen what is it? For anybody to defend President Bola Ahmed Tinubu now, you have to do a very, very hard working. So his performance, to me, he has not deserved a second time. But I don't know. 2027 is still far.
tomorrow he's still there. He can turn everything around, and he will prove to us that he is capable. If he is able to prove to Nigerians that he is capable, well, I don't have problem with that. But Azari Dokubo, you know Azari Dokubo now. What is Azari Dokubo's knowledge about politics? Only what he knows is that he will say, "I drum support for you." Maybe eventually when you win, he should call his boys and give him some pipeline to be guided, so that they will also award some contract to him. All sorts of things. If something like that is not happening, I don't know what Azari Dokubo will do in any government.
Mr. Femi, Obasanjo has said, I'm not afraid of the EFCC. They come to arrest me. I am ready. What do you make of that? What we've seen in Abilo, has been avoiding arrest, and EFCC have arrested yes, Governor Fayokowa of Delta State. So, do you think that statement coming from the governor, former governor, even the governor of yes, the sitting governor, do you think that statement does it look like he's afraid of being arrested?
He will not be afraid, because he was not the first person to be our first governor to be arrested, and all of them are surprised with the way Yaya Bello is doing his own thing. He was not the first person to be invited by EFCC. It's an invitation. How do you spend this money? Then come and explain yourself. We have seen so many governors went there. Fayose went there. He even went with the customized T-shirt. EFCC, yeah, I come. And they talk and they charge him to court. He has case to answer, and he answered them. I don't know where they finished the case of Fayose, where it's ended, how it was ended. So what Patrick Kowa is trying to say is that maybe he has even seen EFCC as a toothless dog that will just come and back and back, they cannot and after back, and they cannot bite. Even the one that bites, we saw the result of Dariye and Jolly Nyame. After they were even successfully sentenced to some jail time, our presidency grants them clemency, and they were released. So what is the big deal in EFCC? That's what to me that he is not afraid of this EFCC does not mean that his hand is clean, but he's not afraid of EFCC because he knows how to knock them. They are just like a toothless dog, and he knows how to catch them when they come.
So Mr. Femi, let me ask you a personal question.
Okay.
Do you have light yesterday?
No light.
Now again, national grid has collapsed twice in just 24 hours. National grid. That even power bank is now charging power bank. If you have one power bank, you don't have another power bank again.
With another power bank.
So what if our light can be going on and off? Like a child that is having this teething problem. What do you think that the president should do? Should he sack the minister for power, or what do you think he should do?
Let me tell you, it is what it is. Even if he sack the minister of power, I don't see that minister of power is working anyway. I don't see him. But even if he sack the minister of power, what has spoiled and it's not just spoiled today. It's a gradual process. You see, as I usually say, that we walk into this thing. It's not that we just jump there. We crawl and walk until we find ourselves in this condition. So that our grid is collapsing, it's not something that just started. It has been there for a very long time. You could remember how a different government, different regime has been spending money on our power supply, power generation.
Obasanjo was spent like $16 billion.
And we saw nothing. Jonathan also tried his own best. Some power plants were being built, but it's not effective. I couldn't say much about Buhari. So I don't know much about Buhari, the contribution of Buhari towards our electricity. I couldn't say much about it. So it's a continuous failure that each administration failed to put in more effort to give us what we want, until now degenerated to the situation we find ourselves. Grid is a machine. Only what Minister of Power needs is, when it's effort, is we call people to repair it. And as the cost of repairing, maybe the thing has even updated, get where. So I think what Mr. President needs to do is to declare state of emergency on our power generation and distribution in this country.
So, Mr. Femi, I'll be taking you on this other question again.
Okay.
We've been seeing these waves of protests has come and gone, has not delivered any result and everything. But we've seen your state, you are from Osun State, and our former chief of army staff, may so rest in peace.
Amen.
General Taurid Abedolagbaja is from Osun State.
Yes, from
now,
Yoruba.
okay. Now your governor, Governor Adeleke, has declared 3 days mourning as tribute training for General Lagbaja. What do you have to say? What do you know about our former chief of army staff?
I don't know him. The first time I hear his name was when they appointed him as a chief of army staff. I don't know him before. But to declare 3 days mourning, I don't think it's not, to me, it's not sit down well with me. Even if you want to declare mourning, 1 day is enough. Declare 1 day, and maybe some other days they should just observe. I don't know. Declare 3 day mourning doesn't mean that people will not go to work. I don't know how, to what extent is it? Are they not going to school? Or but if it is just declare mourning, maybe our flag in Osun State is being at the half mast, and maybe a silent mini observation. All those one is good. But if it is beyond that, like people should sit down at home for 3 days, they should not come to work. I'm not supporting that one.
So before I let you go, we are closing now.
Okay.
But this is a very sad development. From the Punch newspaper.
Okay.
And the 2 states owe contractors with tariffs 933 billion naira. You can imagine where a young man entered into the civil service after he had worked for like 25-30 years. He became an old man or old woman. Then this person is then he or she retires, and he or she is waiting for a pension, and then they have to go and line in the sun, in the rain, for their own sweat to receive pension. What does that say about our governors or our leaders in Nigeria?
It's very, very unfortunate, and it's not just started. And this is one of the problem that we have in this country that is subjecting our civil servant into corruption.
Yes.
Because there is no sense of defense,
yes,
sense of belonging after retirement. Yes. There is no security. They don't have a rest of mind that, yes, after I retire, I will a certain amount will be paid to me. So most of them, they usually gather enormous wealth to cater for themselves after retirement if they have chance. That's why majority of them, they are because let me tell you, Nigeria, we don't just find ourselves where we are. There are some things that happen. So far, people are not being taken care by government where they're supposed to. Then everybody will be so greedy to the extent that they want to cater for their children, cater for their. Okay, for instance, in developed country where aged people are being taken care of, yes, anybody above 70, maybe my mother may be fall into that category, yes, where children at least if you have 1 or 2 children, where they are being taken care of, their education, where it has been taken care of, then people wealthy have been taken care of. Quest for money will be reduced. An average Nigerian, if you say an average Nigerian, let me tell you, an average Nigerian is feeding like some of them that they can feed themselves. They are still feeding like 5 or 6 people around them. Some of them have their age mother that they are going to feed. Some of them have like a 4 or 5 brother that they are going to take care of before they take care of their immediate family. So because government is not taking care of people, so quest for money is so much. Now let's go back to all these retirees when they retire and you couldn't take care of them. So the one that are serving now, they saw how you mess up with the one that have retired. So they will want to. I don't want to end up like that man, so that I will be shaking and I'll go and kill to collect money. So whomever that have chance to embezzle money, yes, it will be acquiring wealth. And let me tell you, it is civil servant that collide with our executive office order, yes, to embezzle money. Yes. Governor cannot embezzle without the permanent secretary. Yes. So they all go hand in hand. So that's why majority of. So for this country to move forward, we need some overhauling rearrangement, yes, of things that have gone wrong. So it's very, very unfortunate, and I want to appeal to any governor that is always retiree that they should pay, because èèyàn tó bá gbọ̀pá lọ́wọ́ arúgbó
I'm letting you go in the next 3-4 minutes. But this is a very sad development again. Maybe you have not heard it. I've heard. Now, another terrorist group have been formed. This is the case in Sokoto State. They are called the Lukarawas. And the reason why they are having this field day was because of the failed agreement, because Niger has pulled out of this our ECOWAS security stuff. And then Lukarawas are not taking that, but that's the new security. Now there's Boko Haram, there's bandits, Lukarawas has joined, and they've begun operations. And we see how they're imposing taxes and terrorizing people in Sokoto State. What is the way forward, Mr. Femi?
Well, the way forward is that maybe we just started and we have not seen what is really, I mean, where we are going. We have not reached where we are going. Like Bella said, they say, just watch me as I'm going. And if I reach where they go, until we reach where we are going, then our leader, they will know what to do. Because they are watching it now as if there's nothing concern them. The southeast, I mean, the northeast has been taken over by Boko Haram and the ISWAP. The northwest, that we are just thought it was just a bandit. Now the bandit has metamorphosized into a terrorist group. The next one that I'm looking up to now, God forbid, but I can see that from North Central, we will still see another terrorist spring up, try to take over that place. And it's very, very obvious. All these people, what are they looking for? Boko Haram is looking for Islamic rule states, Islamic sovereign state. ISWAP is looking for Islamic sovereign state. And this one that they just come, what are they looking for? Islamic sovereign state. I'm surprised. Sokoto state, that is state of caliphate. What are you looking for again? If I'm not mistaken, Sokoto is under Sharia law. Yes. If anybody mess up or just talk anything against Prophet Muhammad, we know how they killed Deborah the other day. It's going to stone to death. So what are you looking for again? To tell you that these people, they know where they are going, but I know that one day will be one day. I mean, one day will be one day. Hunter will go into the bush and maybe the antelope that is going to be pursue hunter. One day we are going to know the solution to this challenge. Maybe it's division.
Okay. Thanks for coming, sir, Mr. Femi, and God bless you.
You're welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is a major problem in this country. The main problem is harassment, retail, and different countries are having problems.